Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
We're gonna talk about the Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom thing again, because we're gonna talk about, I guess, fan reaction to it. We're gonna talk about how much money it took to get Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo Brothers back, and we're going to talk about a controversy about Doctor Doom not being white and being portrayed by a white actor.
Let me guess, Twitter.
It's Twitter, Reddit, take your pick. It's all the same thing. So before you get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So I think first we're gonna talk about how much money it took to get Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo Brothers back in Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars, and the search for more money.
It was a lot. And actually, according to Variety, their sources said the Russo Brothers only back because of Robert Downey Jr. They said that Downey, who was rep by WME, agreed to return to the MCU if the Russos, who are CIA clients, not sure that matters, would be directing. They're the only ones he would work with. Okay?
Yeah.
So they had to give him a bunch of money, and two, they had to hire them.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's the only thing that really kind of sort of puts my mind at ease, because I'm like, if they had, say, the people who made the Marvels working on the return of Robert Downey Jr. and Multiverse Evil Tony, or whatever the hell this version of Doctor Doom winds up being, I'd be like, yeah, this is ridiculous. This is going to be a disaster, and it still might be a disaster. I mean, it feels very desperate. We've talked about it before. That doesn't mean it's going to be bad necessarily. I'm going to be honest. It might actually work. There is some precedent in the comic books, different comics for this, but like, I don't know. It feels lazy. It feels desperate.
It's just Disney being desperate.
It's Disney being Disney.
How desperate are they? Well, they're giving the Russo brothers $80 million to do the two Avengers films, and then to do two more films, which they're doing under their own banner, the AGBO production company, which I guess is kind of odd because Marvel doesn't usually do that.
Right.
They do not get like back end bonuses or residuals, but they are getting performance quote unquote escalators, which means bonuses at $750 million and $1 billion marks for each film. Those two were behind the last two Avengers movies, which brought Disney like $4.8 something million or billion dollars. I'm sorry, $1 billion. And they did really well with that. So that's why I brought them back. So they're getting that much money to do 4 films. But how much is Robert Downey Jr. getting to do the 2 films? Significantly more.
Yeah, they're not saying. So here's the thing. Like, people are going to complain, I'm sure, about how much money he gets to come back. I guarantee you it's probably a couple $100 million.
I don't know, but they said significantly more.
Is it worth paying him that? If that is the only way you can break $1 billion or $2 billion on each one of these movies to bring him back, then yeah, it's worth it.
To be honest, I get why they're doing it. And I think as far as, the normies are concerned, it's smart. But I'm also kind of like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do in the fact that it's going to be more confusing. It's going to cause more confusion. And like someone else mentions, and I thought about this myself earlier, is that it kind of undoes what happened in Endgame in some way. Because it's like, he's back, he's somebody else, but he just happens to look like it was a multiverse. So there's no stakes. Everything can be redone. It's just a different version. And it's kind of like...
Why? Well, we know why. We already know why.
3000 Tony Stark.
Yeah. So Tony Stark 3000, that's what they need to do. So a lot of fans criticizing the move. Some people were super excited about it. We talked about this before. We talked about kind of comparing it to the Rise of Skywalker trailer at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
That everybody was like super pumped. And then once they thought about like, oh, hey, Palpatine is coming back. That's kind of weird and lazy, isn't it?
Well, everybody, like the people that you said that they were going and telling people at Comic-Con what the news was and getting their reaction for it.
Yeah.
And when they weren't part of the panel, their reaction was like, what the hell? But the people on the panel were like really excited because you get caught up in that whole energy around you, and everybody's excited just because they're getting to see it first, and they're excited just because
Robert Downey Jr. is there on stage, and it's like, oh my God, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. And then when you actually step away from it and think about it, you're like, do I really want him coming back as Doctor Doom? That's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, I mean, I was saying with Palpatine, like, oh, Palpatine's coming back. And I'm sitting there like, how?
Yeah.
Why?
You got to play Fortnite to find out.
You have to play Fortnite to find out, right? And that was desperation because they let Rian Johnson kill off Snoke in the second movie without even explaining who the hell he was. Just like everybody thought for sure. Barely an inconvenience. People thought he was going to be Darth Plagueis or something. But we saved that guy for the acolyte.
I know, right?
It's just like, so I don't know. I mean, my personal feeling as a comic book fan, I do not like this. I want to see actual proper Victor Von Doom. I don't want to see Negatoni, and I think that's what we're going to get. I mean, people are like, no, he's going to play Victor Von Doom. I'm like, yeah, that might be the name he uses in the multiverse, but it's very possible he was adopted or something because they have a whole adoption storyline, and it's very possible that he's, Tony Stark or the Starks adopted him or vice versa. In the other universe, the Von Dooms, like who calls him?
It's gonna be weird though because they're gonna be like, he just happens to look like Tony Stark.
Just happens to look like Tony Stark.
It's really weird.
Happens to build a mechanical suit of armor. Just happens to be a genius. Just like, but then the flip side of it is, it would be interesting to see like what if Tony Stark's life took a totally different.
If they go that way, they might literally just make him a different character that just happens to look like him in a different multiverse.
I don't think they're going to. I think
they have Reed Richards looking like different people in different universes. Yet Professor X looks the same. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. Chris Evans is the Human Torch.
Oh
and
no,
he's,
you can't say. Yeah, we can't say
Captain
that.
America, yeah.
But yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't like it personally. I think it's I just don't like the idea of it. But that's just me. Some people are like, oh, it's gonna be great because they did this kind of sort of in the comics. But a lot of people, they were baffled. They're like, what? Like what? I was like, what? And this was a rumor, and I thought it was too ridiculous to be true. This was a YouTuber rumor, right?
I thought they said him coming back, and I thought they'd bring him back, but I didn't know that he'd come back for that.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to see proper Victor Von Doom. So there's another controversy. Can we talk about the other controversy? That apparently Robert Downey Jr.'s, they're accusing Disney of whitewashing Doctor Doom by having Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Von Doom because he's part Romani. Just part Romani in the comics. He's actually not Latverian either. Because it doesn't exist. The country doesn't exist. But people are like, he should be played by a brown man or brown adjacent.
I know, it's just ridiculous. I mean, and then they were mad because it's not Kang.
They were mad because it wasn't Kang. Yeah, because the Jonathan Majors. And, they, of course, we all know what happened to Jonathan Majors, and this is why they brought in Dr. Doom. But let's be honest, Kang was never an A-list villain, in my opinion. Like, even during the original Secret Wars, I'm going to tell you a story, and this is gonna date me. But back in the day, you could literally find Secret Wars Kang action figures on the peg in the 1990s, left over from 1984-85. They were sitting on the shelf at KB Toy, collecting dust. They were marked down to 50 cents. I watched them go down from $1 to 50 cents to 25 cents. Because nobody knew who the fuck Kang was.
Yes, exactly.
They knew who Dr. Doom was because they had a Fantastic Four cartoon and they had him on Amazing Spider-Man or Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. They had him on there a couple times. So everybody knew who Dr. Doom was. He was like Dr. Doom was one of the most recognizable Marvel villains. Nobody knew who Kang was.
Yeah.
And if people were that interested in Jonathan Majors as Kang, a lot more people would have went to Quantum Mania because he was the big bad in that. Nobody gave a shit. I'm just saying. But you say Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Dr. Doom, and that's like, oh my God, Dr. Doom. I know Dr. Doom. I've heard of Dr. Doom. But Kang, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Who the hell is Kang? I'm not on board with it, but they've thrown a bunch of money at him.
I mean, if they offer me that much money, I'd do it too.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie.
Disney, I'll be Dr. Doom for you, and you can pay me half as much as Robert Downey Jr.
I can see it. I think you could pull it off, actually.
You think I could pull off Dr.
I've
Doom?
seen you. I've seen you and your how you are normally. You probably could pull it off.
I don't have the right heritage. I don't have the right makeup. I'm not actually.
I don't know. You might.
Latverian.
Well, no one is, but you might. You have to get one of those the genetic tests done.
Oh no. See, check my purity. See if I can stay in my own lane or not.
Yeah. Right.
My Latverian, I might be. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. Okay. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.